Awesome. Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Kiana McClure. I am the co-chair of Project Vision here with Adam Sanzik. Thank you guys for joining us. We had a good month off. Love to see a lot of familiar faces, a couple new faces in the room. And with that, I'm going to ask for the introduction of first-time visitors. If someone is new and would like to introduce themselves to the group, raise your hand to be recognized. We'll have a microphone circulating. And if you don't stand up, we'll start calling on people. There we go. Oh, we've got a mic about to be coming. Usually that takes a little longer, so I appreciate the confidence.
Is that you, or who was that?
Um, Hi, I'm Ellie Manaloto. I was with UVM, working as a dialysis nurse at Rutland RRMC. This is only my second week at Rutland Free Clinic.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Awesome. And do we have any other first-time visitors?
Thank you.
Oh, right behind you over here.
But I am Paul Black. I'm actually on the community health team with Morgan here next to me, but I do the pediatric population. And so some of you probably know me, especially if you work with kids. So anyway, thanks for letting me join you here today.
Thank you for joining us. Any other new introductions? Awesome.
I'm Alexandria Perone. I'm just a Rutland City resident.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. All right. Last call for new visitors. We've got one over here.
My name is Jessica Greco. I'm a social worker with VNA Hospice, but I also attend Life Faith Church, and we've been doing a lot of advertisement for helping out with Project Vision, so I'm here in both capacities. I did used to come like several years ago, but I'm back.
Well, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Awesome. And just to keep the agenda rolling right along, I would like to introduce Mayor Dunges for his remarks.
I like the energy in here today. Nobody wanted to stop talking, so that's a good thing. Keep up the communication. So a couple updates from me, outside of everything else that's going on in the city with discussion around a new hotel being built, us working on a tax increment finance district, and all the other great things. I did want to let everyone know that as of the 10th, which I think was yesterday, right? I can't keep track anymore. The Rutland Housing Trust, in combination with the Community Care Network, submitted for the grant that the state had put together in the new legislation for sheltering, along with the homeless transitional plan that we've been working on for the last year or so. So the plan that I've talked to you about before, the one we've been discussing with the aldermen and with our local representatives, that plan, along with the housing component and some services components as well, went to the state for review on the 10th, which is awesome. I don't know what we're going to get back. They were very pressed to ensure that we were applying for those monies, so hopefully we'll see a positive result from that. Also, on the other side of that coin, the state gave the city some grant money last year to work on staffing positions for actually building the plan and what that would look like. So what kind of services would be provided, what kind of services are needed in the area, what partners we can work with, and who has capacity and who doesn't. So that team, I'll be announcing on Monday who that team is and how that's going to work. I actually have to sit down and talk to Matt because he's been out and make sure he's up to speed before I tell the rest of the world. So, but that's coming along pretty quick, and so Monday night we'll be talking about that at the Board of Aldermen meeting. So, any questions? Rich? So the grant was up to $10 million. There were no caps. I am not sure exactly what we asked for, but we were including a building and the services. So I think it was well over a $5 million ask. I'd have to go back. I didn't see the final document. Whether we receive that or not, is to be determined. And my argument to the state was, as Rutland has been housing the largest population, that we should probably see the largest grant award. But, we'll see how that goes. Awesome. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Awesome.
And next, I would like to invite up Commander Prouty for his Vision Center update.
I hope you all had a fine June. I didn't. So Vision Center update, the Vermont Army National Guard has the counter-drug program, as many of you know. We've had the counter-drug program in the city for quite some time, but this time, the embedded person at the police department is working on prevention. And so we're gonna have our full-time prevention person in the Vision Center. I'm excited about that. I've only got to see them once because I've been in and out of the building only a few times for over the last month, but excited to see where that goes. Our third community resource specialist has been given a conditional offer by Chief Kilcullen, and will be starting on Monday and start their training. Her name is Sequoia, so I'm excited for next month for her to come in and have to give a 30-minute dissertation of how she got here, what her plans are. We'll make it rough for her. It'll be great. And lastly, of course, I've been out of the loop, but I did want to do a PSA. So I missed last month because I had been diagnosed with prostate cancer that I found out through a cholesterol test. Now, I hadn't been to a primary care physician in 5 years because I'm an idiot. Hard-headed, stubborn, I go to the doctor. But the Army said, hey, look, your cholesterol, I was about to swear. See how I caught myself? My cholesterol is really bad. Thank you. Thank you. And, and so anyway, so that test, cholesterol test, they called me back and said, hey, listen, don't worry about your cholesterol. You got other problems. So went over to the VA, had another test. They didn't like what they felt. Went to Dartmouth, got an MRI. They didn't like what they saw. Got a biopsy. That came back really bad. And so on June 14th, I had a procedure, had that removed. And very fortunate, I got a call from my surgeon the other day. They said, wow, this thing was moving. Don't believe it went past the margin. So they cut I got this cool machine called the Da Vinci operator. So I like to say that I was operated on by a Medroid because I'm a Star Wars nerd. But anyway, so I'm very happy to be here. I'm so happy that I finally did something proactive with my health, and hopefully I'll be here for a long time. But I say that, I don't want to be personal with my experience because this could be anybody, right? So be proactive, get your checkups, don't be a nitwit. That's my new word, instead of the other one. Your family will appreciate it. You will appreciate it. These things are preventable. They can be treated. I'm a little slow right now. I got about another 4 weeks to heal before I can go out and fight crime. But that being said, so this is also. Thank you. But this is also the main reason why we're really passionate about what we're doing with the outreach care team, because the more people that are in that margin that without primary care, they're using either the ED as their primary care physician, and it's just, that's not okay. The more people we can get into primary care, signed up for Medicaid or Medicare, whichever they qualify for, or both, in getting those tests, that's super important. So we're going to keep working on that. So be patient with me over the next month. I'll be in and out. Sometimes I don't work full days just because I get tired quick. But anyway, thank you. That's my update.
All right, and we're going to move on to the announcements from the Rutland City Parks and Recreation Department. I do not believe we have a representative from them to speak, but we have a liaison to speak on that. I'm staring him down in the back. Could you come up or speak into a mic just so we can catch it for PEG TV? There's one coming up right behind you. Thank you.
Who works with Park and Recs, couldn't make it today. She has a little cold and can't speak very well, so I said that I would fill in. For you guys that don't know me, my name is Officer Rosario, work with the Rutland City Police Department under the command of Mr. Prouty. So National Night Out is August 6th, 2024. It's going to be at the Meadow Street Park at 4 to 7. So we have some flyers that I've got in my hand. I'm going to leave them on the back table. I know that a lot of people have already signed up. This is a great event. If you guys want to come out, I don't know if you guys have been a part of it, but it's amazing. We get a lot of partners that come out, hang out with the police department. We have a really good time. We get some food. We get families. Just a lot of good things happening. So I'm going to leave these in the back. Again, it's August 6th. It's going to be 4 to 7 p.m. At Meadow Street Park. The street will be shut down, and we're going to do like a touch a truck event. So we got some really cool surprises, and you know, if you guys know anybody that is wanting to sign up and hasn't signed up yet, all the information is in this flyer. I'll leave it back there, and you guys can check it out, be a part of it. We'd love to have you.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much for that update. Next, we're going to have Jamie Bentley with an update for the Community Health Needs Assessment.
All right, thank you. McGruff, we hope you get back to fighting crime soon. And if you know who McGruff is, it is time to have those yearly checkups. Right? All right, so Community Health Needs Assessment. My name is, let's start at the beginning. My name is Jamie Bentley. I'm the Community Impact Coordinator with Rutland Regional Medical Center. And part of my position is to develop, disseminate, implement the Community Health Needs Assessment. You can, I can do it. Okay. For those of you that don't know what the Community Health Needs Assessment, this is a required document for community hospitals to provide every 3 years. It has to be published by September 1st, and ours is due this September 1st, 2024. And this really is something that came about out of the Affordable Care Act in 2010. Luckily, though, Rutland Regional Medical Center has been doing community health needs assessments since 1997. So we are lucky in the sense that our local hospital and healthcare has been thinking about how do we connect with our community and how do we support our community's greatest health needs. And what they do with that information is share it with the community, but then they also provide funds to local nonprofits who are addressing those issues. So I wanted to give you an update on the process because it is due, our Community Health Needs Assessment is due this September, and we've been going through the process. This process takes about a year, and I wanted to give you an update on where we are in that process. So you can leave it there for now. Okay. We did a community survey this past winter. We had about 443 community responses, and that, I'm hoping that many of you took that survey. I know Mr. Prouty did, because I made him. And then we also did 2 other surveys. We did a medical provider survey, and we did a community leaders or key informant survey, which many of you are key informants, and I'm hoping many of you took that survey as well. But in the community survey that we sent out, we had something where we had 23 indicators that were statements about our community health, and most of them were social drivers of health. Some of those things where we live, work, play, and grow, which influence our health and well-being. And we asked people, how important are these indicators? And then we asked with the same group of indicators, how well is our community doing within these areas? And that has created this importance performance analysis, or an IPA, which is also a tasty beer. But in this, presentation, we are talking about a statistical analysis. So go ahead. From that community survey, this is what we found. It's really hard to read, so don't worry about reading it, but this is just that visual. That IPA, or that Importance Performance Matrix, put all of those indicators into different sectors of this grid. So up in the top corner where the red mark is, where the red arrow is, that is the indicators that people said were important and were not doing well. Those are the areas that we felt this is then where we need to focus our efforts. So places where, or indicators where people in our community said, this is really important to us and we need to do better. So here they are in a more readable format. Go ahead. Thanks. Safe housing for everyone. No big surprise. Quality mental health care. Healthcare specialists for children and youth. Substance use being addressed. Financial resources, people having financial resources to afford things they need. People feeling safe in their neighborhood. Access to healthcare services. Quality child care, including after-school programs, and the older population getting what they need. This was the overall, the general consensus from that survey and that IPA analysis of what our community said, this is important, but we're not doing well. We really wanted to dig deeper into that information, and we looked at our survey and said, who was missing? What voices were missing from the survey? Because many of you who do surveys, and Eric can probably attest to this, it was a lot of females of middle age who are white and educated. So it's like, great, my opinion, which is helpful, but we also need other people's voices and thoughts about our community. So we looked at our respondents and we said, if there were 10 or more people who identified in other areas, we're going to pull their answers and see if there's differences. So we looked at people who identified as in the LGBTQIA2S+ community. We looked at people who identified as people of color. We looked at folks who made less than the median income. We looked at folks who lived outside of Rutland Town and Rutland City. And we looked at folks who were older than 65. So we pulled their information and we said, are there differences? Do they agree with this, or are there additions or subtractions? So go ahead and next page. So that's what we identified those missing voices. That was the second part of the process for the community health needs assessment. So those were our populations of focus. We said, these are the people that we're missing. We're missing people of color. We're missing people from the LGBTQ community, people who make less than the median income, all those groups that I already identified. And we said, we need to do some focus groups, and we need to ask individuals who identify in those groups some of the questions and to see if these indicators resonate with them. So we did a focus group with the Castleton University NAACP chapter, and there were 20-some students who attended, so we had 2 separate focus groups within those students. We went to the ARC office and met with their disability advocates because we didn't screen for disability status in our community survey, and we felt that was an important group that we should hear from. And we met with folks who utilize the services in Fairhaven at the Slate Valley Cares Food Bank. And there was 18 people there, so we had 2 separate groups within that office. So we got a lot of feedback from lots of different people from around our county, and what we said was, we did this survey, this is what we found, these areas people felt were important, and we're not doing well, do you agree with that? And they said, yeah, that's pretty spot on. And also, here's a few more ideas that resonate for us. So, trust in our healthcare system came up in almost every single one of our focus groups and was identified when we started pulling information from that community survey. So people who identified with the BIPOC community, LGBTQ community, below median income, and outside Rutland City and Town, all honed in on this trust in healthcare system. What does that trust mean, right? They said things like long wait list, primary care providers, coming and going and having a hard time getting into their office, and just that overall trust in the system and the communication between those systems. The community is set up for all modes of mobility. That was another one that came up, which I was really excited to hear. But you can see the areas or the populations of focus that identified with that indicator. In addition, youth engage positively with our community also came up. People are not discriminated against, and community members know how to prevent suicide. So these were the indicators that our populations of focus came up with that were different from that original group. They all also agreed on that original group. So just so we're clear, everyone was like, yeah, these 9 areas we need to improve, but in addition, these areas also need improvement. So lastly, what we needed to do was take those voices and prioritize those indicators and sort of put them into different groups to better understand what will our priority health areas be as we move into our next community health needs assessment. I had a thought in my head and now. Out one ear, in one ear, out the other. Go ahead, Adam. So as we put those indicators into common groups, because that's what I was gonna say, right? There was 9 plus several more indicators. We can't have all of those be our priority areas. That's too many different things to focus on. So what we really wanted to do was find the commonalities within those indicators and put them into categories. We also wanted to make sure that we were centering health equity. So we wanted to make sure that those indicators that were identified from populations of focus were at the top, that those were important pieces that we add to our priority areas. And then of course, prioritizing those social drivers of health. And this is what we came up with. And I say we, I do not do this on my own in a vacuum. I had an advisory council that was made up of several different organizations in our community and different folks who helped identify or helped us develop the surveys, helped us analyze the surveys, and helped us facilitate the focus groups. So all of the information came from the community, and it was this advisory council that sort of helped develop and put this into an easily digestible format that I'm now sharing with you. So access to care, community safety, and community connectivity. Access to care, as we all know, this is not a surprise, right? We have seen major issues. I'm sure Tia could come up here and talk for hours about access. Eric, the same. Matt could probably also contribute. But as you can see, that trust in healthcare system that I recognized earlier is at the top of that list because we wanted to make sure that those voices that are often excluded from the overall findings were at the top of our list. Community safety, again, something that we're not surprised to see, we felt was important for us to be, as a community, to be focusing on. And then community connectivity. And the connectivity part is not just about individuals connecting, but it's also about the infrastructure in which we live. So those childcare options, after school options, the mobility aspect, the infrastructure in which where we live, the communities where we live, but also the interconnectedness of each other. So next steps, just so you know, we're just now starting to deliver this information to the community. The Community Health Needs Assessment has not been published or posted yet, but it will be within the next few weeks. But really the next step is for us now to work on these indicators and identify some of the key issues within those populations of focus. So I said earlier around the trust in healthcare system, there was a couple things that we could pinpoint through our focus groups, but there's more work that we could be doing as a community to understand what the barriers are to accessing care, or what the barriers are to feeling safe, or what the barriers are to connecting within our community. So identifying some of those key issues is going to be really helpful as we move into that implementation strategy aspect of the Community Health Needs Assessment. And then of course collaborating. We're all here and we're all representing different agencies, different parts of Rutland, and collaborating together is how we move forward. And so the more we can work together, the better chances we have of actually making an impact. And then lastly, we also need to communicate effectively. I'm sure all of us have noticed that in the last few years, our communication has decreased somewhat in explaining some of the things that we're doing in our agencies, how we are addressing issues, and what efforts we're taking to address issues. And those are some of the steps that we need to take as we move into the implementation aspect of the community health needs assessment. That was a lot of information all at once, and would love to take any questions about the community health needs assessment if anyone has any. I knew you would have a question.
You know I can't go without asking a
That's
question.
okay.
So,
I'm ready.
Jamie, in regards to the people who participated in it, were they giving back any feedback to know what you came up with?
Yes, so thank you. So the focus groups that we worked with were in process of, because the larger document is not complete yet, we haven't shared fully the results with the focus groups, but that's happening. So we're still connected with those folks that we met with to let them know this is what we found and thank you for participating in the focus groups. Does that answer? You have part two? It's okay, you don't have to have part two. Okay.
So in regards to the information getting out, are you going to be able to share these slides
Oh.
with the Project Vision listserv?
Yes. So we can definitely share these slides. Again, so because this is a federal requirement for Rutland Regional Medical Center, the community health needs assessment document has to be approved through the board of directors. And so that's going to happen the end of August, which then the document will be posted on our website, which is part of the requirements, and then it will be public by September 1st. So the larger document is in process and will be available and ready to share with folks within weeks. Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Jimmy, I was just wondering, is it clear how to implement these areas, or
It's-
how will you make it?
It's like I planned to do. It's perfect. Thank you for that beautiful follow-up question. So the community health needs assessment document is really, the intention is to identify the priority areas. That's what is required and what we need to have published on the 1st. And that's this whole process that we just went through. We then follow that up with an implementation strategy. And so I will be working on that next, and my hope is to come back to this group and try to pull some ideas and strategies from everyone here of how do we successfully and effectively address some of these issues. Because to me, that's like the meat of the community health needs assessment is, great, these are priority areas, but what are we going to do about it? And that's the next steps. Yeah, go ahead, Elise.
We're trying to record this, that's why we're doing the microphone, and it's essential for these people later on when they can look at information they may have missed.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm Elise Headlam, I'm with the Police Commission. And Jamie, I may have missed something, but I wanted to hear a little bit more about what you're doing for the older population.
The older population was definitely identified as a group, as a population of focus because, right, a quarter of our population is 65 and older, and that number is just going to continue to grow. And I see that population of focus, and this is where that health equity piece comes in, and the populations of focus that I spoke of, they cut across all of the priority areas. And our focus as we delve into the implementation strategy should be within those areas. How do we decrease barriers for those populations of focus? Because if we can decrease the barriers for the folks that have the most struggle and the most problems accessing care, then we're going to open that up for the majority of people. So the older population, the focus should be how do we deal with all of these priority areas within that group.
How do you reach them?
Well, as far as that, I mean, back up. I implement this process and I help make the suggestions. I don't do the implementation. I don't implement the strategies. So that is up to the people who work with those populations. And that is where we need all folks and all agencies at the table to come up with the effective strategies. Because I don't work in that specific area. I don't know what the best practices are. So the community health needs assessment and the implementation strategies are about providing that information for our agencies, for our community, to then say, how do we address these issues?
So you would be working with the Council on Aging and VNA and all of those?
That's always the hope, right? And
That's what I was asking.
Yes, yeah, and I would say the majority of our healthcare agencies and many of our nonprofits use the community health needs assessment pretty regularly to write grants, to understand the community, to help identify their priorities. So this is a document that I think over the years, because Rutland Regional has been providing this for so long, that many of our partners rely on to help understand and identify the issues within the community.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. In the chart with the red arrow, so the stuff in the top left was stuff that needed, was prioritized. Was the stuff, does that make the stuff in the bottom right stuff that's going well, or just also not going great, but less of a priority?
All right, so top left corner, I had to turn myself to make sure I'm saying it the right way for you. Top left corner is high importance, low performance. Top left. Top right is high importance, good performance. So we know these are important aspects, but we're already performing well. So let's not necessarily put our time and resources into areas in which we're already doing well. The bottom right is low importance, high performance. So people are less worried about these issues, and plus they think we're taking care of them. In that other box, and as you can see, the 3 indicators that are in the bottom left quadrant, they're pretty close to the center, meaning they fell just under our average of high importance, low performance. And so that is low importance, low performance. So the reason we stuck with high importance, low performance is because we want to make sure what we're focusing on, people find important. Because if someone says, I don't think youth engagement is important, I'm not going to care about it. However, all 3 of those things in the low importance were identified in our populations of focus. So all 3 of those rose up into the high importance, low performance quadrant.
I was just thinking I guess all the things on the right might be good things to look at for what can be done correctly, as we're looking for solutions for the left.
Yeah, as far as strategies of how did they get to this quadrant of high importance but good performance, great idea. Thank you. I knew it'd come back.
Popular guy. So Jamie, in reference to the community survey, it's something that I just picked up on the way you worded it. Is it whether the community is doing it well, or is it the Rutland Hospital doing it well?
It's overall, we didn't ask specifically about the hospital. Because it's a community health needs assessment, we're asking community-wide. We're not saying how is the hospital doing on this. So it's really about, how collectively are we doing as a Rutland region at these issues.
So I'm sorry, I'm going to go one more direction.
Let's do it.
In regards to that community, and we know how well the Rutland Hospital and our community work with the VA in our local area, and there's always a large breakdown in communication. Were they at the table, and do you need them brought to the table?
I think bringing them to the table would be great. Again, the more voices we can have at the table, the more ideas we're going to have, the better chance we are going to have at collaborating, the better chance we're going to have at communicating effectively. So the more people we can have at the table, the better. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to take that silence as no more questions, and thank you for having me.
That was an amazing Q&A. I am loving the group participation today, guys. Next, we have a Community Care Network presentation update from Jessica Daniels. Is she here with us? Perfect. So, you got it. You got it. Well, all right. Thank you so much, Sam.
I don't have to do this one very short. Thank you. Hello, I'm Sam from Community Care Network, Rutland Mental Health, and I'm just here to talk about, I'm not sure where this fell on Jamie's graph because I tried really hard to see, but I couldn't, where substance use and particularly youth engagement fell for the lower high importance quadrant. Good, okay, well hopefully. In speaking with community engagement and working within the community of Rutland and then what we have with local partnerships, us as an agency really saw a need for adolescent substance use, not just clinical treatment, but an opportunity for them to engage socially with each other in a safe space and have opportunities to make healthy choices, which if you have teenagers, sometimes they like to make a lot of choices and we don't always agree. And so Doug Norford, who is the director of the Child and Family Unit at the agency, and I co-run a group called Choices for Teens. It is centered more so around harm reduction as a model. And so we're not preaching, don't do drugs. Of course, we do not condone doing drugs. But again, they're going to make choices to use drugs. So we want to also encourage them to make choices that might buffer and make choices to do things in addition to going to school and having a social network that are healthy choices and giving them a voice and a space to do that. So I'm going to leave some information about our group. It runs every Monday from 3 to 5:30. It is for ages 14 to 18, but if there's a 13-year-old that might just be developmentally a little bit older for their age or have had some experience, we do make exceptions for that too. If they're part of our agency, we can get them right through the door. If they're not, we just go through the intake process. But we really want to reach out and let the community know, since everyone says there's a need, what are we doing about it? We now have a thing, but we need to get the people through the door. And teens don't like to get forced into doing things. It is a cool space. Doug went to town. He's kind of turning it into his man cave with records and stuff. But it is a really nice opportunity for teens to attend, and then also attend community activities that we want to throw, such as maybe having like musicians coming in and just really having a space for teens to go and not feel like it's a boys and girls club forced fun type environment, because we want them to make the choice to want to come. And I'm going to also write off the questions and answers thing, since I probably forgot half of what I'm going to say. So any questions? Yes.
Is there any outreach being done for the program outside of Rutland City?
Yes, so I have been in contact with all of the schools in the county itself. In addition to that, the Pride Center which is I guess in the city, but really trying to explore that avenue. Granted that it's now summer, those connections that were newly established, not really securely formed, are a moot point. And so we're really trying to think outside the box, and we can put up flyers where we think teenagers might go. Bowling alleys, I guess the laundromat is a place, news to me. But that's what a teen said, so I was like, okay. So we are open to ideas because, again, marketing, and especially once other teens and youth have a good sense, they're the ones to best market it to their peers. Instead of us saying, it's really fun and cool, we promise. It's, a teen saying to his friend, hey, it's not that bad, dude, like come check it out. So that's ultimately our goal, but again, we are so open for any ideas to get this going, since we've been trying, but it could appear as a very clinical, and there is a clinical element and undertone, but we don't want teenagers to think that it's sit around in a circle in chairs, very structured, like sterile environment, white walls. So that's our goal.
I would imagine having transportation options too,
and that,
for those students in that age group to be able to access the meetings would be important.
And that is something that we have encountered barriers on, since though it's still in Rutland, it's in the North Main campus behind Goodwill. That's not really a trekking distance that's fun from even just the Rutland High School. But then we're also running into an issue of, again, the transportation. We live in a real rural area. And so typically teenagers, especially if they've been growing up in a house that uses substances, they even are at more of, a probability of not having reliable transportation. And so that is something that if anyone wants to write a lot of grants and hire a bus driver, let me know. So that we can make this, if they want to go, but they simply just can't get there, that's a big issue that we want to really try to work with partners in the community to think outside the box and strategize for.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Thank you so much for this, Sam. It's really great to hear about the project and the program. And just to reiterate around the community health needs assessment, youth engagement, substance use specialists for children and adolescents, those were all high importance, low performance, and areas in which we need support. But just hearing what you're saying and the atmosphere that you are creating, something of a suggestion would be to connect with the Boys and Girls Club in Rutland because of the teen center. And that teen center really is, that has been teen created. They are the ones that said, we need this, this is what we want here, and this is what we want to do. And it would be amazing to see a collaboration there where maybe either groups could be held there, or I feel like there could be some really great connection between those two, because it sounds like you're doing some of the same work and either sharing kids or rides or whatever it might be, but that might be a really great way to boost both programs.
Yes, and I did forget to say within community engagement, because I was like outside of Rutland City, I'm very literal. So medical providers, and then they are one of the people too, because at first it's like, oh, is this gonna be a competition? I was like, no, we can cross collaborate. And again, it's even just with the space. So if people can more easily access where that is versus North Main Street, why not? Again, it takes a team to raise a teenager, let alone. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, again, I don't have, oops, sorry. Yes.
Part of the youth, the teen center too, is the resource hub, and that was received, we're receiving funding for it, and that's going to be a central location at the teen center. Any materials that you have, if they could go down there, it'd be greatly appreciated, because we are in the process of trying to collect all these programs to have in one place, and there is a huge bulletin board that is updated weekly for the Boys and Girls Club and the Teen Center, which we would love to have something along these lines on it to start that collaboration.
I've got a beautiful poster right in here I can give you right
Please,
now.
please.
Awesome.
I would just love for you, hi, Catherine, she, her, VDH. I would love for you to join we break out into groups, and so if you could join our youth group after, that, if possible. It would be wonderful just to talk more.
I wish I knew. I would schedule around it. Do you folks, and we could talk after too.
Yes,
Sorry, guys.
definitely. Just wanted to expand that invite and for those who haven't joined yet.
No, but I would love to
that would be
touch
great.
base.
Perfect. And we also, and I'll invite everybody if you have interest. So we have a Rutland Youth Coalition that meets monthly. It's typically on a Tuesday at 9 a.m. And that's a wonderful opportunity for all of us, our agencies, folks that are working with youth to get together, talk about what's happening, what's maybe not happening that needs to, challenges, successes. So it's a great space for us to be able to collaborate and really get to know each other more. So we can extend that invite, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. I feel honored now. Beautiful. Well, thank you guys. And that's it.
Amazing. And a slight change to our agenda. We are not breaking out into our small groups today. Instead, we are actually inviting those group chairs up to speak and provide an update. So I would like to invite up Pat Hunter and Commander Prouty for the community policing update.
I don't think Pat's here today. So, really don't have much. Again, I've been gone for the last month. I've been kind of out of the loop. But we're really excited about National Night Out. I don't know if you guys made it last year. We had such a blast. I'm really trying to, I'm hoping we get the helicopter again.
Yay.
But apparently, the National Guard might send it somewhere else so everybody has a chance to see it. But I don't think that's a great idea. I think it should go to the community that has the best National Night Out, which is ours. So, thank you. So, for organizations that haven't signed up, it's a great way, especially Jess and Sam, if Community Care Network has a table there, you're going to want to be there. A lot of youth are going to be there. I don't know what the chief's plan is for like a dunk tank. I hope he's in it. I have a doctor's note. I would love Ernie. LaGuardia would be my choice in the winter. But it'll probably be Chief, I hope. If not, we'll get a designee. Maybe Emilio. What do you think, buddy? Maybe the mayor. Oh. That's actually perfect timing, don't you think?
Oh my.
Wouldn't be the first time. Anyway, so I don't have a lot to share, but I can't wait to see what happens with the outreach care team by the end of the summer. I am in the hunt for a vehicle. You probably heard that. I'm hoping that with some moves that the mayor is going to make, I'm going to have a little bit of leverage in the next couple of weeks into months on folks that are really good at navigating the federal grant system to try to get us a vehicle. Because my command post did end up at the command post graveyard in Granville, New York, and was scrapped. So, no, there was no ceremony. I did get a couple of sympathy cards sent to me. They knew what that vehicle meant to me, but it's gone. So, that's all I got. Not yet.
Awesome. While I'm right here, I will give the update from the volunteer committee. It is kind of on the same note as National Night Out. We are going to have a table at National Night Out if anyone would like to join myself or Adam sitting behind the table and providing resources and having great conversations. But if you have your own table, I understand. And don't worry, I have 3 more opportunities because we will also have a table at all 3 Friday Night Lives. So if anyone would like to join us and hang out with the Project Vision folks at Friday Night Live, let myself know and I will make it happen. Next, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Heather Brouillard for the Youth Committee update.
So I just have a couple quick updates for the youth committee, but some of them have already been taken, so thank you, Catherine. First and foremost, so we took the summer off from meeting. We took a month off to kind of let everyone recollect. We were super successful with our goals for the group for last year, one of which being the teen center, which is up and running and fully furnished. So yay! Super excited. It's a beautiful space. And like was said before, we are collecting resources. If you have any resources for our Teen Resource Hub, whether that be physical resources or anything, we'll take anything. So we're really excited about that. We're going to resume meeting the first Tuesday in August at 9 a.m. virtually. So if anybody's interested in getting on that list for the coming school year, please let me know. Happy to add you. We have a couple of really exciting things coming up in the city for teens to do. Lots of things going on with many different organizations, but just a couple. So Come Alive Outside has partnered with Rutland City Public Schools to do the summer playgroups this summer. So they're on Mondays at Baxter Street Park and Thursdays at Meadow Street from 3:30 to 6, and they are free events and they have some really fun things going on, so please spread the word if you haven't already. We also, at Partners for Prevention, have been really lucky to have a couple great youth interns with us for a few weeks, and they've planned some really fun pop-up events. So we have a paint and scoop coming up at Proudiest Parlor on Wednesday the 24th. That is, everything is free, but there are limited spaces. So if you have kids that are interested, please make sure they register ahead of time because we're only taking 20. And last checked, I think there's like 10 spots left. So we also have a Water Fun Day coming up at White's Pool at the end of August. That will be on a Saturday, and we'll start advertising for that very soon, as well as an event called In My Roller Skating Era. So if you can imagine, it's Swiftie themed. We have like 100 roller skates that we're renting. So it'll be free roller skating, bracelet making, karaoke, all the fun stuff. So keep an eye on the Partners for Prevention and the Come Alive Outside social media, and all the information will be there. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Heather. I would like to invite up Jamie Bentley and Jane Borhill for the Health Committee.
Okay, Health Committee, our last meeting we held during the Wellness Conference at Castleton University. And actually, I think the best part that came out of that meeting was talking to a group of some of our local nonprofit executive directors. We are really seeing some of the burnout, compassion fatigue issues, the amount of time that the leaders in our nonprofits are putting in is astronomical, and it feels like they're getting less and less support. And so from that meeting, we kind of came up with a small plan of trying to get some of our executive directors together and having some of those conversations of what can we do to help and support these groups in our community. So that is what we talked about and what we are going to focus on in the next couple meetings at the Health Committee. So there you go. Questions, thoughts? Our next meeting is next Tuesday, 10 o'clock, virtual. If you want to join, let me know.
Awesome. All right, and last but not least, I'd like to invite up the Training and Education Committee. That's Eric Pulver and Linda Olson.
So, you know.
Well, I put down a lot for us.
You know what? You go.
Okay. I got it. So we did host the wellness conference for area social service providers that Jamie mentioned, and that meeting was really good, too. I sat in on that one, and there was some talk about union organizing, too, which is the president of the American Federation of Teachers in Vermont. I was really heartened by, and I saw Mary back there, so I know that she's probably all on board with union organizing back there, too. Anyway, so we did that on the 18th of June. We were awarded, meaning the Center for Social Justice and Trauma-Informed Care was awarded a VPLO $10,000 grant to do more work in Addison County. So we're super excited about extending our reach, which is great. And then we have our annual First Responder Conference on Monday and Tuesday of next week. So unfortunately, I'm going to miss Jamie's meeting, which is always a lot of fun, Jamie and Jane's meeting. But that conference is from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. on Monday and Tuesday at Castleton's campus. Most of the meeting times will be in the pavilion, so you can start at the pavilion, 8 to 5. And if you haven't signed up, registration was up yesterday, but I have connections since I'm organizing it. So just contact me, and I'll make sure your name gets on the list to be joined. That's Linda Olson. Linda.Olson, O-L-S-O-N, at vermontstate.edu. Anything else?
For our committee now.
For our committee?
Yeah.
I think that's it? Yeah. Okay. So, thank you.
So I don't, thankfully Linda was here because she had way more information than I did about our committee. So thank you and sorry for not seeing you. I guess I probably need new glasses. So I just wanted to do a quick update on something a little bit unrelated, but also very related to Project Vision and everyone here. So obviously, if you've seen the news, there is a lot more flooding and happening on the anniversary of what happened last year up in Barrie and Williston and central Vermont. So this is a bit timely. I wanted to kind of give an update on the Community Organizations Active in Disaster, or COAD, that Adam and I and other community partners have been working on getting established. We have a name. It's going to be called the Rutland Regional Disaster Cooperative, or RRDC, because you know we all need more RR something Cs here. And so with that, next Thursday we do have a online meeting with our steering committee to approve the bylaws, and after that it will be officially an actual thing. So we will have that to assist and build capacity and sort of responding and recovering and preparing for the sort of disasters and stuff that are obviously, unfortunately, becoming more common and seemingly on anniversaries. So, you know, that's more things we got to work on. So if you're interested in any of that, come find me and we can certainly get you on the list to be able to learn more about RRDC. Thank you.
Wonderful updates from everybody. Thank you, guys. We're reaching the end here before our networking section. So the last thing I will ask for from the group is a positive or uplifting story that you may have from the last time we all met. And there was a lot of time between this one, so someone has to have at least one. We've got Rich in the back. Oh, and then it was... Perfect. Goes to Catherine first.
Thank you so much. I'm extremely excited about this. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who helped or attended Rutland County Pride this year. We made history by having the first, in the state, I know for a fact, I don't know in the country, NAACP collaboration and walk march into our festival. That speaks to intersectionality, that speaks to what equity is at the heart of it. It was also extremely accessible. We had a sensory reduction space, ALS interpreters. It really was just extremely thoughtfully planned, and I felt like I was coming home. It was truly a wonderful, remarkable, historic event, so I just want to thank everybody and encourage you, if you didn't have the opportunity to come next year, we seem to get that mac and cheese cook-off on the same date. And we also had the farmers market too, so there was just a ton of wonderful community events happening all at once, and I want to highlight how wonderful it was. So thank you.
Awesome. And we run the microphone to the back corner.
So I just want to share a positive story that when you're talking about, Catherine, I'd like to share a story with you about a veteran that I received a text message from in relation to that. But I want to share a story about Julie, who is on our CRS team, and the positivity of connecting the dots with a situation that was going on here in the city with one of my veterans. So Julie is phenomenal, but when we surround and we collaborate with other agencies, one particular is the VA, one is the BIATA, the CRS team, people that really gave a crap about an individual that was really having a bad time. So we brought a lot of people together, we surrounded her with services, and it's really turned into a very positive thing for the moment. The situation is getting better, and people are engaged and they are on board to help this individual. So with that, I just want to say thank you to the Rutland Police Department for having the CRS team, Project Vision, and all that area available. And I'm hoping for some progress every day. We make one little step in the right direction. So thank you for that.
And I would say we probably have time for one more positive and uplifting story if someone has anything they want to share. Perfect, right here.
Hi, Shelley from Brock Community Action. The landlords in this town have really stepped up, and I will say Rutland Housing Authority, they did a wonderful thing. They actually have a preference. There was an elderly gentleman, 70 years old, same place since 2006, great tenant, but he was going to end up going to the motels. And so reaching out to Kevin, they actually have something in their administrative plan for prevention. And so if this gentleman he's approved for another landlord, so he will not have to go to a motel, which is absolutely wonderful. So that's a wonderful resource. And also a gentleman, he's been homeless for 7 years, and there's a landlord that gave him an opportunity. So the landlords in this community are really stepping up. Kudos to them. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and as we close this part of the meeting on a super positive note, thank you guys so much for all of your active participation, and I hope we keep those conversations going, because in the lobby we have pizza generously donated by Domino's Pizza once again, so let's give them a round of applause, because we are so thankful for them. Amazing. Thank you guys for being here. Go enjoy some lunch and keep the good work going.